I chain smoke and I say fuck a lot. But I accept myself for the way I am. I accept you too. Viewer discretion advised.
I recently joined Tinfoil Hat podcast again with Sam Tripoli. Also on with me was Dyer. And if you want to watch it, I'll leave a few links below. It's episode 765, P. Diddy, Dan Schneider, and sexual blackmail. And during this conversation, Victor Salva was brought back up, and the fact that Francis Ford Coppola backed him over and over after he was found guilty of molesting 12-year-old Nathan Forrest Winters. And I thought, even though I'd covered him many times in the past, I never feel like enough emphasis was put out there about how much Francis Ford Coppola helped him over and over again.
We were just reading The Godfather a few months ago, me and Frank from Quite Frankly. We did a podcast where we dissected the book, and in the novel, it's kind of, in the movie, it's kind of hinted at this scene where they go to the Hollywood producer to get Don Corleone's relative, he's basically based on Frank Sinatra. They want to give him a movie role. But if you read the novel, it's really clear that the movie producer is a pedo, because when the James Caan, the lawyer for the family, when he goes to talk to the Hollywood producer who doesn't want to cast the Sinatra character, the famous horse. Yeah. Well, before all that, when he first goes, the James Caan character shows up, and there's like a 13-year-old girl coming out, or maybe even younger. I don't remember the exact age, but it's implied that they're casting, right? And the Corleones know he's a pedo, right? So they're basically, this was being leaked in Mario Puzo's novel back in the 60s. And I know probably people thought that producers were pedos, but if you pay attention, it's like, oh, wait a minute. He's actually telling us how Hollywood really works, even back, in the 50s and 60s when that was out.
You know what? That's weird that you mentioned The Godfather, because the movies were produced, or I don't know if they were directed or produced by Coppola, right? Francis Ford Coppola?
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola funded and produced Clown House for Victor Salva in the 80s. At the same time, Victor Salva was molesting Nathan Forrest Winters, is the child actor's name, and he was videotaping it too. And when he got busted and went to prison, Francis Ford Coppola sued the family of the 12-year-old boy that was being molested by Victor Salva for years. I sent Mark a clip earlier.
Take us through the steps of how Victor Salva was held accountable for molesting you as a child.
Well, when he was arrested, it was a sting operation, first of all. And so after we finished up principal photography for Clown House, because of the cameras we used were literally the ones that George Lucas used for American Graffiti.
Wow.
And so they were really old, outdated cameras, and they were extremely loud. So every bit of sound on that film had to be dubbed over. And so it was basically a month of shooting and then a month of overdubs. And it was right in between, like right in the first couple days of doing the overdubs, that the police did the sting operation and caught him just a couple miles away from his house. And then, they found, pretty much a kiddie porn den, just videotapes upon videotapes and photo albums full of like boys modeling underwear for, Macy's or Sears, plus pictures of countless little boys, and all sorts of just really, really disgusting stuff was found, and Victor admitted to all of it. He admitted to all of it until there was an attorney involved, and Coppola is where the attorney came in. Like that's where the money came from for the attorney, for Victor's attorney was. So Coppola gets him this really, expensive lawyer, and then it turns into where he, because the police already had on file, on record, him admitting to all these things, because he was arrested on 11 counts of child molestation, including oral sodomy on a child under 14, oral copulation on a child under 14, videotaping these things, and then, several charges that had to do with the production of Clown House and being abused during that production. So he, of course, retracts everything, and the lawyers get him to shut his mouth and, stop making their jobs harder. And eventually what happened was, at some point, Coppola filed a lawsuit against my family for $5 million for some breach of contract or something.
So Francis Ford Coppola stepped in to not only help him, but then he sued you.
Yes.
It was slime bag. Are you kidding me? This notable, legendary Hollywood director stepped in to not only throw sand in your face, but to help someone that had been arrested on unspeakable charges.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Freaking believable.
Once the film was, because I still had to go and do all the overdubs. So after he was arrested, so I still had a month's worth of work at Coppola's house every single day for 8 or 9 hours every day for a month. Which time I was like blackballed, told I'd never work in the industry again, and
sure,
like all sorts of stuff, and yeah, it was incredible.
Only one short enough to get under without clobbering himself.
Come on, you guys, up.
Oh, yeah?
Hey! That thing's gonna fall off. Again, Case? I thought we were all through with that. Come on. Let's get these wet sheets out of here before Mom sees them.
You ever walk into me like that again, I'll step on your face.
Sorry.
You sleeping bare ass now?
The Tribune, Oakland, California, September 29, 1988. Concord man gets 3 years for molesting 12-year-old. A 30-year-old Concord screenwriter and director was sentenced to 3 years in prison for molesting and making pornographic movies of a 12-year-old boy. The sexual encounters took place last summer during the filming of Clown House, a low-budget teen horror film in which the boy appeared. The movie was shot in Concord, Walnut Creek, Brentwood, and Napa by Commercial Pictures and produced by Francis Ford Coppola. Contra Costa County Superior Court Judge Richard Arneson said Victor Salva was not a good candidate for probation. The judge said he reached his decision Tuesday on the grounds that society needed to be protected. Salva needs to be punished, and Salva, quote, took advantage of the trust and confidence of the boy and his family.
You guys want to show you really got some hair? Casey? You want to show you really got hair where it counts?
What?
Well, since we're all feeling so brave tonight, and Mom won't be home till late, we could have some real scary fun. Remember, Casey?
Ghost stories.
Yeah. You wanna, Jeffrey?
In 1995, when the movie Powder was coming out, produced by Disney, it was written and directed by Victor Salva. And when Nathan Forrest Winters, his victim, heard about this, he protested and tried to get people to boycott the movie. He was only 20 years old at the time, or at least he tried, and he got a little bit of press for it. But that was kind of pre-internet, and most people have short memories. From the Sacramento Bee, October 25, 1995. New Disney film director is convicted child molester. The director of Powder, a new Walt Disney film about a troubled teenager, is a convicted child molester who once videotaped himself having sex with a 12-year-old actor. The film's release this Friday in 1,200 U.S. theaters has prompted the molestation victim, Nathan Winters, now 20, to go public with his ordeal to protest Disney's employment of filmmaker Victor Salva. Winters and 5 friends picketed outside the screening of Powder, handing leaflets about Salva's conviction to hundreds of grim-faced Hollywood executives leaving the theater. Quote, "Please don't spend your money on this movie," the leaflets urged. It would just go to line the pockets of this child molester. The friends toted signs. Quote, "Victor Salva, writer, director, child molester," and support the victim, not the victimizer. Winter's decision to go public, Disney's reaction, and the inevitable media attention all raise a knotty question of whether registered sex offenders, apart from perpetrators of all other crimes, should live under societal restrictions upon their completion of punishment. Disney and the film's producer argue that Salva has served his time. Quote, he paid for his crime. He paid his debt to society, said Roger Birnbaum, whose Caravan Pictures made Powder for Disney. Quote, what happened 8 years ago has nothing to do with this movie, said Disney spokesman John Dyer. Quote, what's the point, other than you want to make headlines?
Dude, he still has a career, this guy. Like, he made this movie Jeepers Creepers, remember those?
Oh, yeah! Open the goddamn door!
Francis Ford Coppola convinced me to do the sequel. We both saw it as an opportunity to come back and do the first one again the way I really wanted to, which was with a lot of big suspense, action, and horror kind of put together, because those three don't come together very often.
So this is from the LA Times about Victor Salva. This is from Coppola. You have to remember, while this was a tragedy, that the difference in age between Victor and that boy was very small. Victor was practically a child. He was 29, and the boy was 12. That's from the LA Times. Wow. I'm looking at it right here on the LA Times.
29 is a grown
That's
adult.
Coppola is on the record on this.
So after Victor Salva was arrested for molesting one of the child actors in the movie, being financed by Coppola tried to sue his family for breach of contract, paid for Victor Salva to get a good lawyer, and then later on, after he got out of jail, produced two more of his movies, Jeepers Creepers and Jeepers Creepers 2, which came out in 2003. And honestly, it makes me wonder, because it's not like Victor Salva is some amazing writer and director, so why support him so much? Why give him so much money? It's weird.
I'm a little devastated. This Francis Ford Coppola thing, him defending that fucking pedophile.
Yeah,
it's a real bummer for me.
That whole group is shady as shit, dude.
It's a real bummer.
That whole group is. I mean, you look at like Taxi Driver, dude. Look at Taxi Driver. The story is about a 14-year-old girl.
This guy's he's even out in modern times, like not just a few years ago, talking about how it's they were so close in age. He was in his 20s and the kid was 12. I mean, what? That's indefensible.
A real piece of shit.
Yeah, no, great film director too. It's depressing. He's got a new movie out, Megalopolis, apparently.
Yeah, well, he can go fuck.
Yeah, he can. I mean, I'm done with that guy.
Jeepers Creepers 2 came out in 2003. The next year, in 2004, Coppola produced a movie called Kinsey, a look at the life of Alfred Kinsey, a pioneer in the area of human sexuality research, whose 1948 publication, Sexual Behavior in the Human Male, was one of the first recorded works that saw science address sexual behavior. I think most of you know who Kinsey is. By the way, say hi to Daisy. Fucking stoned.